Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing a book called Spellslinger by Sebastien. I really liked this book. When I first started to read it, I wasn't 100% sure on the story because the synopsis doesn't give much away, but the more and more I read it, the more and more I loved it. So this is the cover of the book. It's pretty cool. It's designed like a card, which is featured in the book later on, and that's the back cover as well. Magic is a con game, and inside it's pretty cool as well, and it has this really cool image here which has all the elements of magic that they use in the book. There is iron, silk, sand, breath, ember, blood and shadow. Now nobody talks about shadow, so that's a secret. And it has these cool images inside the book as well. So there is 4 of those in the book, and we'll get to that bit in a minute. Okay, so the synopsis of this book is: Kellen is moments away from facing his first mage's duel. This is Kellen here. And the start of 4 trials that will make him a spellcaster. There's just one problem: his magic is gone. As his 16th birthday approaches, Kellen falls back on his cunning in a bid to avoid total disgrace, but when a daring stranger arrives in town, she challenges Kellen to make a different path. Ferius Parfax is one of the mysterious Argonists, a traveller who lives by her wits and her 3 decks of cards she carries. She's difficult, unpredictable, and she may be Kellen's only hope. That's her here, and she is actually pretty cool. The first in a rich, compelling fantasy series, bursting with tricks, traps and a devious talking squirrel cat, and that is him there. Now the first thing that I want to say about this book is it's got a lot of words in there, like names, that are hard to pronounce. So if I say the names wrong, I apologise. But yeah, it's hard to say them because they're very different names. You don't see these names every day. I don't think a single one of these books, one of these names in this book, is a name that you hear. So, I don't know where to start really. So this boy Kellen lives in a town. I don't know what the name is called, but in the town there is an oasis, which is where they practice their magic. And when you turn 16, or as you approach 16, you have to do 4 trials. And within those trials, once you pass them, you go to the next one, you get a gold disc. When you get 4 gold discs, you then get your mage's name, and then you become a Jantep. If you don't, however, get your magic, which is what Kellen's actually worried about, is you become a Shatep. Now, a Jantep is, Tep means people, and a Jantep is someone that has magic, that is powerful, and they are like the higher class of this town. And if you become a Shatep, then you're the lower class, so you're like a servant. Now, Kellen's uncle is actually a Shatep, and it's unusual, but he lives with them and he's their servant, whereas normally they'll go off and do their servant things elsewhere. I'm going to try not to give you any spoilers to start with, and then I will let you know when it does become a spoiler. But it's just more of a case of just trying to remember everything in the book in no particular order, because I'll be here all day. Okay, so it starts off with Kellen doing his first trial, and he's facing this boy called Tennant, and this boy is someone that he's hated all through his life. I don't know if they were ever friends before, but he just does not like him. And the way that the author describes this character, you end up hating them as well. So it's not just one of those characters where you feel sorry for them and you don't know why they hate each other. You do actually start to realise that Kellen does have a point about this guy. So he's doing his first magic trial, and everyone is there. His sister's there. Now his sister's 13 and her name is Shala, and she is extremely powerful for her age. Now the place that they live in, they don't really want women to be as powerful as the men, but his sister is an exception because she is extremely powerful. You can't hide her away. Now the men become these very powerful mages, doing all these elements that they can do, whereas the women become powerful healers. So they're still a part of the society, they're still needed, but they're not as high up as the men. Now every single person in this book that lives in this town has these bands on their arm, and each one of those bands are for the different elements. So you'll have the silk, the sand, the breath, the shadow, so you won't have shadow, blood and ember, because no one talks about shadow, but you have all these bands on your arm. And I can't remember what the age is, but when you're younger, the bands go on, and then when you spark that band, you can then use that magic. So Kellen's in the middle of his first duel, and he is fighting this boy called Tenant. The problem is his magic is gone, so he wins his trial, but he does it in a devious way. He uses the magic he has just found, which is iron. Now, if you don't have magic and you haven't sparked one of your bands, the last magic you're ever going to think of using is the band that the other person, your opponent, has actually sparked. So Kellen decides to do that. He decides to, this is a slight spoiler, but it doesn't spoil the book, it just is the first chapter. He decides to use the boy's magic against him. Now, the author is very good in how he describes how the magic works. He describes what he feels, what Kellen feels when the boy strikes him with his magic. Now, the way they create the magic is through shapes with their hands, and Kellen has memorised every single magic's shape. He knows everything. He is actually, to me, one of the most powerful mages of all time, because he knows every single spell, he knows every single shape for every magic. He just can't use it. So the boy does the magic, and he feels his insides breaking, he feels horrible, he feels so much pain. But he makes Tennant think that he is actually using magic back. And the way he does it is really clever, because he pretends he's using the magic back. He scares him a little bit, because every single one of the Jantep can find their animal. So it could be an eagle, it could be a dog, it could be any kind of animal. And once they get their animal and they're familiar, they can become even more powerful. So he looks up, he sees an eagle, he makes Tennant think that that's his spirit animal. He makes him believe that he has more powerful magic than Tennant, and he makes him believe that his insides are being destroyed like Kellen is. So he destroys him and he wins his first magic duel, but then his sister decides to come around the corner and say he cheated. And that is where it all goes wrong for Kellen. He starts to believe that he's going to become a Shatep, and that he is not going to invoke and spark any one of his bands. And that scares him, because if he can't become a mage, he's going to become a Shatep. And every single one of his friends is going to become a Jantep. Now, like I said before, when you're a Jantep, you become a true mage and you get your mage's name. And if you don't, then you stay how you are forever. So his sister then decides to get Kellen to use his magic, because she believes that he's not trying hard. She believes that if he tries harder, he'll eventually spark his band and he'll have magic and he'll be able to become a Jantep once he's completed his 4 trials. So she uses her magic on him, which in the end almost kills him. And this is where she comes along. So she's on her travels, and we don't know why, and I'm not going to tell you why, because I want you to read it, but she's on her travels, and she comes across the oasis and she sees what's happening. She then gets on her knees and she tries to save Kellen's life. And she's weird because she doesn't have magic. So she has cards, she has powders, she has potions, she has all these different things that the people of this town don't like, they don't have. They see her as an outsider. So Ferius decides to heal him, go back to that house, and this is where the story starts to unravel. So Kellen's main focus in the whole book is to get his mage's name, to pass his 4 trials. We don't know what she's up to. All we know is that she's on his side and she's trying to help him. So as the story goes on, you eventually meet these squirrel cats. Now, this town is very strange because I can't tell you why they're strange, because I might as well just tell you the whole story. And even though this video has got some spoilers, I still want you to read this book, so I don't want to tell you too much about the town and all these things. But in the town there's a thing called a clan prince, which rules over the clan of this town. Now, he has died, okay, and there are a few families that want to become the next clan prince. So a long time ago, because the clan prince is very old and very powerful, so he fought in this war a very long time ago with their clan and another group of people, and they believed that this other group of people tried to kill their clan, tried to injure them to try and take the magic, which is the oasis, away from them. You'll find out more later on about that once you do read the book, because like I said, I don't want to tell you too much. But there's this big thing about these bad guys, and they haven't been seen for a very long time, since the war when the clan prince was there. But actually there's more to that story. So the squirrel cat, they believe to be I think it was an anarchic, some sort of creature that is from the devil. And this creature kills the babies of the Jantep and goes away, and these other group of people, that's like their buddy, and they all decided to destroy the clan prince's tribe. So it's all very confusing, because Kellen doesn't really understand the history of it, because he hears one thing from his father and his family, but then she's telling him something completely different. So he starts to think that maybe his clan isn't as good as he thought it was, that maybe being a Jantep is not as good as it's supposed to be. And he starts to loosen to the idea that being a Shatep is perhaps better than being a Jantep. Now, a lot of the Janteps are very posh and snobby, and they think they're better than everybody. And a lot of the Shateps, they have to do most of the work. And in the oasis, in the mines, there's something that the Jantep can't get to. And they have to go there and they have to mine it for them. And there's this thing called a shadow black, which is the shadow magic. And it's believed that the devil can possess you and can turn you against your family. And there's a lot of different things in this book that all come out at the end, but it is a very good book. If you like magic, I would definitely recommend reading this book. I got it from my subscription box, which is called Book Box Club, and it was called Wizards at War, and these really cool cards that came with the box. So these are actually featured in the book. There is actually a bigger image, so what I'm showing you isn't something that you're not going to be able to see, because it is actually part of the book. So this is the first one that I got, and it is called the Two of Spells. Now, Ferius has these cards in the book. She has 3 sets. Now, the first set is just like an ordinary pack of cards, and she teaches Kellen how to play poker. She teaches him how to play all these card games, and he starts to really like her. And then she has this other pack of cards which are metal, and she throws them, and they're very powerful. And the third set of cards is a secret. We don't even know she's got 3 sets of cards until you read it in the book. But the last set of cards that she has is important to the story of the book, so I can't really tell you about it. The next one is the 5 of Shields, and that is the second one that you see inside the book. The third one is the 4 of Chalices, and that's here. And the last one is the 9 of Leaves. And these are part of the book, and they are important to it. Now, the next book that's coming out from this series is called Shadow Black, okay, and that's coming in October this year. So if you do like this book and you do want to read the next one, have a look for October 2017 and you can get the next one. And I don't know if you can see it, I'm going to try and zoom in, but this is what the cover of the book looks like. I think you can see it. Now, the girl at the bottom, I'm not entirely sure who she is, whether she's part of the book that we've read, because there is a girl in this book that Kellen does like. He's only 16, she's 16, and it's just like her first love kind of thing. So I don't know if that's her at the bottom there, but it does look a bit like that's Kellen at the top, only because he's got his shadow cat. So yes, the book is really good. I would definitely recommend it. I would probably give it a 4 out of 5 stars, because it has to be an absolutely amazing book for me to give it a 5 stars. And there are books that I have given a 5 star to, so I'm not just one of those people that won't ever give a book a 5 star. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this. It's a 5 star for you guys to read, because I definitely think you should read it. But on my bookshelf, it's going to be a 4 star. So thank you very much for watching my YouTube video today, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Please leave me a comment below if you want to read the book, if you don't want to read the book, what you thought of the book if you have read the book. And I'm going to ask you a question, and I would like you to leave it in the comments below. If you had a magic band that you wanted to spark out of iron, silk, sand, breath, blood and ember, I won't do shadow because you'll know why once you read the book. If you could have a band, what would you have? So tune in for next time when I review another book.